our team focused on the game industry. We've been discovering that there's a huge demand in the rising game industry to make it more natural, and specifically when it comes to like dialogues and conversations. It's very tedious to create fictional characters or like NPC characters that need to immerse with us in natural dialogues. And if you like hard code all this, like having a very big game would consume too much time. And this is the reason why conversational AI is in need. And yeah, we saw a big chance to use GPT-3 for this, for this specific use case. Our team title, shortly introduced, is ModMax because we were focusing on a very specific use case in this industry, which is for mods. I'm gonna get into this in a short while we focused on this specifically. But yeah, so here, like again, the main points why we think dialogues for video games with a with AI, like powered by AI, is very important. Writing conversation trees for games is hard. Immersive dialogue for with AIs for NPCs are needed, but are still like in development, and that's why like new ways have to be discovered. And it's also very like hard to tailor personality to certain characters, which is why like some context given to the characters, which the AI would eventually understand, is also very helpful in the creation process. Specifically when it comes to game creators that don't have so much funds, and that's why I cannot hire that much human resource. AI can be very helpful to create at least like basic dialogues very easily without putting too much effort into it. And if you like further want to develop, you got to put in more effort to research on it. But yeah, basically this is a mean to bring everyone like on a high level when it comes to creating dialogues in games. So why do we focus on mods? We found that modding is basically the key aspect to guarantee a lifelong use of a game. Usually, when we think about a game that is very hot in the industry, it's maximum 18 months in the big cells, and after that, it will usually drop. There's of course like a few exceptions, but that is kind of like the average statistic. When it comes to modding, when there's a lot of mods happening and popular mods emerging, then these life cycles can extend up to like 5 to 10 years. And one example that you can see here on the right is like a mod version of Grand Theft Auto 5 with Spider-Man in Los Angeles. So there's like one game that enables us to create a mod very easily, and that one is Armor 3. It's quite an old game already, but it gives us the opportunity to use its config files to access like in-game dialogues easily. And that's why we chose this one. Here you see a picture on like how we talk to a squad leader. Yeah.
So if you would switch your screens to my live share, you can see now live the mod that we sort of semi-developed. So if I approach a squad leader and ask him, let's say, who is Miller?
Wait. Oh yeah, you want to present it now? Okay, sure, we can.
Where are we? Let's say. I asked him like where we are. And now the request sent to GPT-3 being sent back.
Wait, sorry, do you want to talk now or should I do it?
No, I'm now like going through like a example conversation built between like it's not pre-coded, it's dynamically being allocated based on the background of Miller.
So I think we have a second team member presenting.
Yeah, that one, sorry, came out of nothing. Here we go. So here you can see a demo.
So can you run us through the demo? Because you have only 30 seconds left.
Basically, it's a demo conversation on the side chat between the player and the non-player character, basically. The request is being sent to the OpenAI API, and we can see, like, since Native cannot be officially involved, so ask him why, and he answered that's classified. So basically, the background, something broke, but basically the background is we use the fanfic wiki to take the information about the single character, pushed it into GPT-3, push the output of GPT-3 through the config file within Arma, which powers the conversations in Arma, and basically have this output. And I believe we're out of time.
Yes, maybe final words. Do you want to add anything? A few 10 seconds, Julian, before we ask the judges to join us on stage? Wrap it up.
Honestly, like you didn't see everything.
So maybe the judges will then ask the questions for you and you will be able to
I guess that will be helpful, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So maybe, Jacob, if we can bring Adrian, Matthias, and Erwin to the stage, our judges. They're here, fantastic. So who wants to go first from the judges? What would be the first question? Matthias? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I managed to be in the chat here, so I will ask about the website. Because I did see they wrote something. So there is a website connected to this, as I understand.
Yeah, it's good that you ask about this. We actually had a slide that was explaining this a little bit. So this is basically our technical setup that you can see here. I guess that's also like interesting to see how we like communicate with GPT-3 and also with the game itself. So yeah, basically we're creating an API and a web server and a channel to create or like to handle HTTP requests and then basically like sending them back and forth. You can see my mouse, right?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah. And then what happens in the end is like that the GPT-3 response will be forwarded to converting a text to speech, which is also a feature that we've been developing. You sadly couldn't see it right now, but yeah, the sound file usually will be forwarded into a directory that Armor 3 can access in its config files, and then will be eventually displayed in the game when the trigger point or the trigger area for the dialogue will be initialized. And this is basically where you can, what you could see in the demo as well.
Okay, thank you. But and is there like a UI people can use that you created right now, or you created more the
created a
logic?
UI example as well. Like, if you can go to the next slide, please.
So we have another team member. Sorry, I couldn't see your name on the display.
Oh, sorry. I guess it's so bipolar bear 1797.
Okay.
Is my Discord.
Yeah.
And my
Perfect.
name is Atharva. Sorry for butting in, but like.
No, that's perfect. I mean,
we-
that's the team effort. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a small demo also with a conversational agent. Like you can get the like the fictional biography of an anime character from a list of anime characters, and you can have a like conversation with it, and it's up right now, I think. So I guess you should be able to access it. But it's a bit primitive right now, so you can like only one person can talk at a time with it. But like it's just to showcase that we are trying to develop conversational intelligence as a service as a long-term goal, because like it can be used in other contexts apart from mods also. Like even though our main target demographic is mods, like it can be applied to other use cases as well, like this website. You can just type any message here and
and we see the response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that response is from GPT.
Yeah. So like you see another use case, something that we worked on the side. Just to like understand your question, right? You wanted to have a UI for the game example, or you just wanted to see like how we would solve a like UI demanding community to like give own inputs.
I was thinking if there were any like like how does it look when user basically use it to implement it in the games.
So it's like just like a RESTful APIs. That's our aim. Like you can issue requests to it and receive the JSON data. So this particular app is a completely different code base that does not have anything to access GPT. So it communicates with a server instance that's running. So how you were able to see it was through ngrok, and like in my workstation currently there's an instance of a service running and a separate instance of the app running, so it can communicate with the main product that we are presenting and can like access GPT and like the conversational intelligence aspects without having to like implement that part of talking with GPT.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Matthias, do you have a follow-up question?
I'm trying to repair a broken site there. That's not working. Okay, let's see. I just would like to know a little in general how it was to work with GPT-3 and what you believe about the future of this type of technologies.
I would say I'm really worried about privacy aspects because sometimes like uh, if the so if there's some issue with the context, sometimes it just fills in the context on its own, and like if there was something public you didn't want to be and you suddenly see it in a reply from GPT, it would be quite scary. So privacy is a very big concern we have, and like if we want to make a product out of it, we need to have like a pipeline to ensure that uh, no hateful content or any private information is like transferred by the API. So that's also one aspect. Like I guess we would try to be more cautious about if we had more time to develop it.
Also, want to
Yeah,
chip in.
definitely. Yeah.
Just to go along with the privacy, we had a lot of issues with accessing the actual in-game chat because some instances of the games are running admin services on the chat, and we had like potential privacy issues even there because GPT-3, like if someone accessed the admin section through the in-game chat, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the advice I just can give in such cases is that you can use multiple more layers to basically classify certain input and output and kind of catch things that shouldn't go out, and also make sure to give GPT-3 access to the information it needs only when needed, so to say.
Did
Sure,
anyone
we'll
else,
definitely
anybody
take
else
that.
from the team wants to add anything?
If not, there's like also a last slide that we couldn't present yet. I guess like this is also very interesting to briefly discuss.
Please go ahead.
So, of course, like when we built this, we've been also like thinking about what could be done better. We've been just creating a demo within a few days, so there's things that could definitely go better, like giving character certain emotions. I mean, like in a military game, there's not so much going on with emotion, but it could add more tension and more excitement to a game, and this could be done with sentiment analysis, for example. Another one would be to have some adaptive storyline which game developers already like try to build, but it's still like a little bit static. But with GPT-3, I see like more potential in this. And yeah, okay, this is a very technical aspect, how to do like lip sync and gesture adaptation based on the context of what the AI randomly outputs. And then in the end, you could also think about like scenarios where AIs are talking to themselves. I think there's like some funny videos how like two Alexa bots are talking to each other, and the conversations go like very deeply philosophically in the end. Having something like this with GPT-3 could make games also very exciting as a like spectator or like gamer.
Fantastic. Thank you for that last input, Julian. Just looking at the judges, Matthias, Adrian, and Irvin, do we have any final questions for the first team?
Hi guys, yeah, it's Pavel here. Just a quick
Hi,
question
Pavel.
just a quick question from my side. So the use cases, the market is huge, right? Do you guys know, did you do any research how dialogue is generated right now? Is there any use of AI dialogue generation? I don't mean behavior of the NPCs. I mean, what's the state of the market today?
Still in development. That's as far as I know.
Okay, because I've never heard of any game using real-time AI to generate behavioral interaction. I think this would be a number one kind of case like this.
Like we know that some previous hackathons, there were some people trying to use GPT-3 to generate basically dialogue trees and generate like predefined conversations for the in-game NPCs. But as of like a commercial instance, I don't believe there's at current time there's no game that's doing that. But I believe like Epic Games and Unreal Engine are sort of working on it, and they showed some demos, but that's as far as it's now.
Okay. So yeah, it seems like a very unique thing and it's also super easy to explain and understand. So really good to see it developed further from my perspective, kind of see it actually working with with some story generated behind it. So taking as inputs, taking a book, for example, right, a few hundred pages, and then trying to generate interaction with the player as he's going through NPCs that are driven by the semantic of a book. So from my perspective, that would be a great use case.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pavel, for that input. And it seems like there's definitely something there that we should keep an eye on, especially after the hackathon. Maybe this team will take it forward. Irvin and Adrian, do we have a final question from your side before we switch to the next team?
Yes, I have a quick question.
Irvin, go ahead.
I assume it's like a memory limited application since there's so many possible texts that could be remembered in this environment. Do you think it's possible though that these NPCs could almost like generate missions or objectives or quests based on experience and what the user would like to play?
I mean, looking at like GPT-3, for example, as is, no. Because like we use example of Arma 3 for basically generating missions, different, even like playing animations, it requires specific commands to be played. But I believe with the integration of codecs and with, let's say, fine-tuned model of codecs, it would be possible.
Interesting.
I have like in my company a similar use case, not like for games, but like for like conditional conversational AI. So basically, like if you're getting into one scenario, then you could trigger like some certain event that would basically like output some information or provide like a certain scenario that could trigger emission. That is something that I could imagine. But you would need like a big database, and I think like some pre-programmed stuff in your backend to actually like make this happen. So I guess like when it comes to conversational AI in the first place, you would have these trigger events that it will notice and then initialize like certain scenarios. But like when it comes to like creating a whole new story mod and, you know, creating everything from scratch, I think this will be a very hard challenge for conversational AI at this point. This will be needed to be hard coded.
Fantastic.
Right,
Thank
thanks.
you, Tobias. Brilliant. Well, this was the first team presenting their very interesting solution, ModMax, and a very international team. So now the judges, please take some time to put down your evaluation. And I think, Jacob, we are moving on to the second team.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So thank you, first team, for your time and also your effort and your dedication. I mean, not sleeping for 46 hours. I hope you get some well-rested sleep tonight.